things are not really going fast, which is not easy. So yeah, trying to keep the spirits up, which sucks at the moment. Hey, it's a couple of months later and my mood has improved. This video doesn't have to do anything with geography, geomorphology, science communication or illustration, but I would have had appreciated to have this piece of information before I embarked on the process. So I'm making this video about exporting a vehicle from Spain if you want to import it to a country within the European Union. If you're interested in this kind of content, then leave me a like and comment here below, because then I can make a video about the importing process to Austria where I currently took the vehicle. This process is not through yet, so it will be quite adventurous still, and I don't know if it will be successful at all. So yeah, I'm curious about that. Let's dive into the process, I guess, with the question, why buy a vehicle at all? I made the decision I want to change how I travel. I've been doing 10 years of public transport, buses, trains, walking, hitchhiking, all this kind of stuff, and I really never traveled with a car, so I wanted to get into that. And driving has been one of the bigger insecurities I have, so I thought, let's go for it. And that started with learning. So I joined a friend and her restoration project in her garage, and she taught me a lot and we had a lot of fun. Due to increasing prices in Germany and Austria for overlanding vehicles, I had to look in other countries because I have an artist salary and I'm traveling solo. Spain and France were the countries where I started to look as well. My dream was to drive one of the old trucks. So on the one side, I wanted to have like a simple vehicle that is easy to fix next to the road. And on the other side, I wanted one that goes like anywhere. So 4x4 was really necessary. And I do have a passion for preserving old things, just like a fascination of something that works already for a really long time. So I decided to look into old Toyota Land Cruisers. Everything I looked at in Germany and Austria was rusty. That was a challenge, but it was not only a challenge because of the market, it was also a challenge of being taken seriously as a woman. And it took quite a while, and I had to kind of roughen up for this. In the end, it wasn't only a question about being available, it was also about an owner who was kind of nice and really, you know, a person that you want to give money to. In Spain, there are a couple of different platforms where you can find used cars. I found mine on Wallapop, so I texted the owner. Actually, that brings me to the next point because I had help with translating. So if you don't speak Spanish, you need to get a person who does, because especially in the rural areas where I had to go to look at these 4x4 cars, these people do not necessarily speak English or any other language, so be prepared for that. If you have the chassis number or the number plate, you can ask a Spanish person or a person who has access to the online administrative platform to order a report about the car for you. This document will tell you who is the current owner, also data like the chassis number, when it was first registered, some information about former owners, and, which is interesting, the date and result of the technical inspections. The next topic is an important one and you can easily overlook it. How do I pay and where will I get the money from if I pay cash? We had an adventure now. We were on the task to get some cash for buying the car. So we were in a couple of banks here in Barcelona today and got the information that it's not possible to withdraw money from an Austrian bank account at the counter in a bank in Barcelona. So then we were exploring possible to open a bank account for a non-resident in Spain. We got the information that this is not possible. I'm not very sure that this is like the final answer. And then we actually tried it at the ATM and were successful. So we're back on track and let's see what happens next. After I found the car, I got cash from a bank. It was a bit of a challenge as well, as you heard. In the end, I got mine from the cash machine. I had to use 2 cards to because I had a limit on my card, of course, and take care of the fees, because on one of them there was a pretty painful fee afterwards. But okay, somehow you have to react pretty quickly when buying a car, and in my case the owner wanted to be paid in cash. Of course you can talk to them upfront if a bank transfer is good as well. Just check that out before. And then I found this car. It's an old Toyota Land Cruiser from 1986. It was a bit of a compromise. It's a smaller and slower model than what's usually used for overlanding, but that's it. As I mentioned, it's also about compromises. So I talked to the owner, we discussed a couple of things, and after making the decision, we went to a gestoria. A gestoria is an intermediate between you and the authorities. That means you pay them and they do the paperwork, which is absolutely amazing, normally. So we went to the gestoria the owner suggested, and there was a little bit of language barrier there because they didn't speak English. So far so good. I had my friend with me who translated, and we agreed that I would do the ITV, which is the technical checkup for cars in Spain, because a deregistration process to export the car to another country can only be done with a valid ITV. So I agreed on doing it because I was on the countryside and I could get an appointment on the next day. If you're in a big city, that might not be the case, so you might want to plan a little bit more time for that. After I got the ITV, I told the gestoria they could deregister the car, which they did, and then I wanted to have green number plates to transport the vehicle to Austria. Green number plates are temporary number plates. You can of course also put your vehicle onto a transport and do it like this, but this is obviously like the cheaper version to drive yourself, and for me, I also want the fun of driving because I want to travel far with this car, so I absolutely wanted to do it myself. And this is where the problem started. To get the green number plates, you need a NIE, which wasn't mentioned for me before. It was of course in the list and I should have checked it, but it was just like not checked if I have one on the day that I bought the car. A NIE is a number of identification for foreigners. There's 2 kinds of NIE. The one that basically makes you a resident of Spain, which also makes you eligible as a taxpayer. So when you only want to buy a car, then you want to avoid this. And the other one is a NIE that basically makes you able to do business in Spain, which is the right one for buying a car. So make sure to choose the right one if you have to go for this. In my case, it was absolutely impossible to get an appointment to get a NIE in the time that I was still in Spain. So in the end, I ended up going to the Spanish embassy in Austria, where I got my NIE, and then going back to Spain, where I could leave my car in this fantastic co-living Ruralco. I will put a link into the description if you ever want to stay at a co-living. It took me another couple of weeks to get this NIE. When I got it, I wrote to the gestoria and I said, hey, here is the NIE. I want my green number plates, please. After a little bit of confusion about me being a German citizen staying in Austria or being a resident in Austria, they launched the process and asked for the green number plates, so that was good. I just got an email from the gestoria, so the people who take care of the whole administrative work here in Spain. But apparently the process is like through, and they requested like a copy of the documents, which basically allow me to get like temporary number plates and to drive. So I might drive after all. And in the end, I got my papers, which was also not a smooth process because a couple of emails were lost and the communication was difficult, but I got my papers and then I could order the number plates. About to get the number plates. Let's see if everything works out. I'm nervous. I have number plates. Can't realize it yet because like I stressed so much that I think that will take a while to sink in that I can actually drive. I'm while driving super paranoid about everything. There are a couple of issues one warning light keeps to being like switched on and off, and the indicator for the oil pressure, like kind of, yeah. Anyway, I will now make some groceries for the trip, and then go back home basically. Then there will still be like the tires and a checkup on Monday. Then I have to get my papers back in Barcelona, and then that's it. Then I'm driving. When you have your number plates, don't forget to get an insurance. There is a couple of companies that offer like insurance on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. So that was easy to get. You need an address in Spain that you put into this, and yeah, then you're insured. Always good. I definitely need proper curtains, and now the next step is to go to the gas station because I forgot to buy coffee, and then get the original papers, and now we're free for 50 days. Look at this. It's just before Christmas. So I made it back in time for Christmas to see my family and my friends. The whole process took from mid of September to mid of December, so quite long, with all the back and forth and waiting and misunderstandings. I think it might be smoother for other people. That was my story. If you have a simpler solution, and I know there are some people who just drove the next day with an insurance and the number plates of the former owner to their home country, which I didn't do. So if you have a simpler solution, just leave it down in the comments, or share it in some other way. I would be happy to hear about it and see how the importing process goes. I hope that this will be somehow smoother in Austria, which I don't really think, but keep the fingers crossed. I will let you know. And if you like this channel, there is a couple of other topics I talk about. Leave me a like and subscribe. I'm happy for any support, and see you soon.